Hello and welcome back to the Beefy Tech channel. So today we're talking about the infamous issue with Call of Duty, which is performance. And the specific thing we're talking about is about the fact that Call of Duty loses performance every single season. And yes, you heard that right. It really does lose performance every single season. This is a result of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's in-game benchmark from Season 2 Reloaded, so right prior to Season 3's update. Now, if you see, my FPS is already lower than it was in Season 2 before Season 2 Reloaded for the achieved average FPS over here. But the CPU average FPS is good. It was still hanging on in there. After I made a couple more tweaks, I was above 500 finally. After the Season 3 update, I have 335 achieved average FPS and a beautiful 488 over here. Now I know, this is not a oh no, what am I gonna do? I'm going from 1,000,000 FPS to 999,000 FPS, you know. It's that situation of there's clearly performance loss within here. Now, it's not that significant, but imagine you're on a lower end rig and you don't have what I have with a 4090 and a 7950 X3D. This type of performance loss would slowly be adding up to where you're suddenly not able to even hold 100 FPS anymore. And I'm sure most of you have noticed that because the performance has been steadily dropping. It hasn't been something hidden in the background, it's very obvious that it's steadily dropping with every single season. Luckily for me, I test Call of Duty quite often, so I've got footage right before Season 3 was released where I did actually take a performance metric of Al Mazrah Highway specifically to see how it's holding up and wanted to see how the servers performed. And because I have that footage, I can now go in-game and compare it directly to after the Season 3 update and see how things are doing now versus then. I've muted the game so we can quickly talk while I drop in to do the test. So I will be going in here and I'll be testing live exactly what the performance is. Then I'll go in one of my previous recordings and we'll compare. One thing I wanted to mention is that I've been getting packet loss like absolutely crazy. And whenever I have a server that has insane packet loss, I have to back out and run it again until I get a server with no packet loss. Because packet loss unironically affects performance numbers and it makes testing really difficult. And with how terrible the servers have been, it's made it so difficult to have a one-to-one comparison of performance. And just as expected, the performance is significantly lower than it was in the previous season. And by significantly, I mean by like 25 FPS-ish, maybe 28-ish. You'll see the recording in a second of before Season 3. It could also be that this is one of those servers that has bad packet loss. It doesn't show the packet loss, but you can tell that the 2 latency is spiking a bit, and don't worry, that's a bug. So see, there was a spike in latency right there, and that would actually affect the performance despite there being no packet loss showing. Anyway, let's quickly see the before this season performance numbers and compare. Alright, now we are looking at one of my older recordings from Season 2 Reloaded right around the start of it, and as you can see, the performance is a bit better, and undeniably so. The GPU usage is significantly higher, meaning that the CPU is also running better in Warzone. While I was getting about 75% to 80% usage in the other video, here it's 85 to 90%, so it's a huge difference in overall usage, and that shows in the frame rates, which are significantly better too. The only difference between these two things is that here it was Season 2 Reloaded, and in the new one, it's Season 3 Reloaded. Season 3, not Season 3 Reloaded. So Call of Duty is losing performance every single season. What can we do about it? And honestly, the sad reality is we can't really do much about the fact Call of Duty is losing performance, because it will keep losing performance with every season. But we can keep trying to counteract it with better settings, better overclocks, better undervolts, yada yada yada. So, to offer you guys at least something, some form of consolation, in the description below, there's going to be my config file that I use to better the performance of Warzone. Now keep in mind, this config file may not work the same for everybody and will have varying results, but I highly recommend you check it out. I'm just going to quickly go and show you guys exactly how you find your own config file so you know where to put it. So you're going to want to open the folder down here. You're going to then want to go to Documents. You're going to want to go to Call of Duty. Double click it, Players, and options.3.cod22. This is the folder. If you open it, you're going to notice that there are all your settings over here. And you can do, change absolutely everything within this file, even things that you can't change in game. I've done quite the optimization on my config file, and I've actually got an entire video speaking of config files that I update regularly so it's always on the latest season. But yes, I'm gonna post this file down below. You guys can literally just copy paste it, replace it with your file here, make sure it's named exactly like it's named over here, so it detects the file correctly, and you should gain some performance if you didn't already have a custom config file before. Anyway guys, with that said, I'm sorry to let you know that Call of Duty is losing performance regularly. It's truly a sad time to be alive, where one of the main games in the world literally is so unoptimized that with a new update it can lose performance rather than gain it. But anyway, it's been good talking to you guys again. I have a lot of videos on the way, and I am excited to show you more of what's to come on the 7950 X30 and 4090 combo rig, as I've made some more changes that are very, very interesting. Anyway guys, have a good one, and peace.